This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
You're listening to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends recap romance novels while bickering about directions and planning trips to dinosaur parks.
Stack our shelves with the clinches out. Shout it from the rooftop, can you hear the sound? Yeah. Live your best life, love it out loud. Love it out loud.
Hey, HBs. If you like the way we talk about these zany dino boys, check out our Patreon or Apple Podcasts bonus subscription. This Friday, Sabrina and I are squeeing about books 2 and 3 in this series. That's Sink or Swim and King and Queen by Maddox. We'll also be covering the final 2 books in the series in the future, so, keep your eyes out for that. Now, when we left you yesterday, our boys were in the middle of their clandestine road trip, and they had kissed for the first time in a kitschy dinosaur park. A dinosaur park that they had broken and entered into. Oh! That's where we're jumping back into our tale. Here's part 2 of Smash and Grab by Maddox. So they stop at this roadside inn, and now when Simon walks into this room, he sees that there's 2 beds. So he's already really feeling weird about having kissed him, and now he's like, oh no, he got 2 beds. That obviously means he doesn't want to sleep with me, and now I feel even weirder about kissing him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, ugh. And so
Don't
he's like,
worry,
I'm going to
listener.
go take a shower.
Dalton immediately fixes this.
Yes. Yeah. He's like, where do you think you're going? He's like, to shower? What? Do you want to go first? And Dalton's
He's like,
no.
I want to come with.
Come over here. Yeah. Yeah. And he starts I think he kisses him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's one thing. You know how a lot of times I had no problem in this book suspending my disbelief. Okay. That was not the problem in this book for me.
I mean, that's convenient because he is a 65 million year old plus dinosaur shifter.
Yeah. No, what I could not suspend my disgust for a lot of this book because Dalton is a smoker and he smokes constantly in this book.
Yes.
And so now every time he kisses him or does whatever, I kind of hork a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I made Michael quit smoking or I wouldn't date him. And then he quit.
Yeah.
God damn it.
So I will tell you that Poster Boy is the novella after this, 1.5.
Poster Boy?
Oh, hang on.
Also, just to let you know, RELIC stands for Reclaiming Extinct Lineage from Illegal Collectors.
Mm-hmm.
And when they have this talk, Simon's like, extinct lineage? That's a hell of a way to say fossil. And then he goes, I wanted it to be the Fossil Assessment and Recovery Team. And Simon's like, you wanted to name your team Fart? And he's like, would you mess with a fart?
Beautiful. So
It's the best.
Yeah, Poster Boy. Poster Boy is the 1.5 novella that comes after this, and it is maybe 20 pages, and it is Simon at a nerd convention, not convention, a work thing, a paleontologist.
conference?
What? That's the word.
There we go.
A work nerd convention.
Yep.
Am I wrong?
No.
So he's there, like, displaying some of his most recent whatevers, and it is stated in the book that Dalton is quitting smoking. Like, he has a patch.
Oh, good.
So, just so you know, he doesn't stay smoking, even though he is a smoker the entirety of...
God, it's so gross. Everything about it is so disgusting. Ugh. Can't do it. Did I tell you, I convinced myself when I was young, that I was allergic to cigarette smoke because I hated it so much. I thought that it must be a medical condition.
That is hilarious. Yeah, it's one of those things, like, I don't know. It just doesn't bother me. Maybe it's because I used to smoke actual cigarettes, and, like, I don't know. Some people say that you get over the craving, but, like, it's been over half a decade since I, like, last was a regular smoker, and I still miss cigarette. Like, I still miss an actual cigarette.
Yeah.
It just, I guess it depends. There are definitely some that bother me more than others, but I think that that's just because I was picky about my cigarettes when I smoked.
Okay.
And so it depends.
Can't handle it. Nope.
That's okay.
Nope. Yeah, so...
That's better, to be clear.
Sure.
That's better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it makes me kind of a nightmare to be around if you're a smoker, but most of the smokers I know are very, very conscientious and or have quit already, you know?
Yeah. I mean, even when I was a smoker, though, I had such fucking issues with people who were not thoughtful about it, in the sense of, like, they would just light up around anybody, or, like, if they would, oh my god, this always drove me, and it still drives me bananas to this day. I understand, like, what a pet peeve. This bothered me when I was a smoker. This bothered me as, like, now that I've quit smoking. It bothered me before I started smoking. It bothered me while I was smoking. If you step away to smoke a cigarette, and then you purposefully stand in a way that the smoke is going to be all over you when you breathe out.
Yeah. It's gross.
Downwind, my friend. You smoke,
blow downwind.
You smoke upwind.
Yeah, all of the smokers I've known have always, like, Tanya, for example, smoked for a really, really, really long time. And so we'd both be on her couch, like, watching TV or, like, you know, just doing whatever. And so she wouldn't necessarily step outside, but she would always open the window and sit right next to it and blow out the window, you know?
Yeah.
And so I can handle that kind of thing, but otherwise, like, I'm a nightmare. So anyway, they're standing there in the middle of this hotel room, and he says, "I want to join you." And then he pushes Simon on his chest, which makes Simon flop down onto the bed. And then he says, "Naturally, this left me powerless as he crawled on top of me and straddled my hips, leaning over me with his hands planted by my head. Being underneath him was a hell of an experience. It felt like I was trapped in a lion's sights, but was strangely fine with being ravished. My heart was pounding, my stomach unhelpfully summoning more butterflies to join the tornado in my gut, and my blood was rushing south too quickly for my brain." And then Dalton says, "Do you still think I'm fucking with you?" Ooh, and then he asks, "Do you want me to stop?" And he says, "No." And he's like, "Good." And he gets up and grabs his hand and leads him off into the bathroom. And then he starts, like, undressing him in a very demanding, almost petulant way, which, coming from Dalton, is so sexy. You know? He, like, grabs the bottom of his shirt and starts tugging it up, and he's like, "Off," he commanded. Oh, it's so good. And so then they get into the shower, and Simon, this is the first time he's ever had any kind of sexual contact with a guy. So he's, like, figuring everything out, and he's like, "Oh my God, the look on Dalton's face when I push our hips together is so sexy." And they're making out, and it is wonderful. And Dalton also has, we forgot to tell you, like, every piercing under the sun, including 2 lip piercings. Like, they're snake bite
I love a
piercings.
snake bite.
Yeah, same.
I love a snake bite. Like, whenever I see somebody our age that still has them,
Yeah.
I'm always so fucking happy about it because, like, you're so hot.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, also just like, I'm happy that you're living your best life and being pierced all to hell, but like,
Yeah.
they're so hot. Like, the millennial emo in me will never not see snake bites and be like, oh, hello.
Yeah.
Hello. You know, like a little fucking weirdo. Anyway.
Totally. So they're in there and Simon is like, hey, this is not gonna last long. It's not gonna be a long shower. And Dalton's like, yeah, no worries. Me too. Oh my God. Oh, it's so good. And he's like, damn, Professor, I like it when you're bossy. Oh!
Yeah, well, because Simon takes a little bit of charge and it's so
Yeah.
precious. And like the
Yeah.
fact that he felt confident and comfortable enough really, it says a lot about how Dalton is as a
Yeah.
person and like
Yeah.
how open to like just non-judgmental he
Of course.
is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so precious. And then afterwards, they end up coming like freight trains all over each other, obviously. And
Yeah.
then they end up snuggling in bed, and Simon is like a little quiet and weird, and Dalton's like, are you
Well,
okay?
first of all, wait. No, first of all, sorry. I hate keeping doing this to you, but
No,
I have
I'm
read the book
glad.
almost 3 times.
I was
since
going
yesterday.
to ask. I was just about to ask, how many times have you read book? How long was the audiobook, Melody?
It was like 5 hours. It was nothing.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
honestly, I'm shocked it's only 3 in the last 24 hours.
Right? I know.
Continue.
So, well, I had to watch some of
K-pop Demon Hunters.
The 3rd season of Perfect Match on Netflix. It's like
okay.
a reality TV show that takes all of the daters from a bunch of different reality TV shows and then puts them all together. So it's like reality dating all-stars, basically. And it's fantastic.
Reality damn. Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right.
So good. Anyway, so first Simon leaves. And that's like when the relic and fart conversation happens because he's walking out of the bathroom right as Dalton is like cackling about not messing with a fart. So cute. And then he goes out and he looks at these 2 beds and he's like, what do I do? Like if I was really, confident and brash, I would just get into the bed that he claimed. But I can't do it. And so he strips down and gets in his pajamas and he gets in his bed. And everything is like dark and he hears Dalton like come out and go back in and, he's like doing his bedtime routine. And then he's so happy because Dalton comes around the bed. He goes to the other side of his bed and he gets under his covers and then he backs it up.
Scoots it up.
So and then it says Simon like tentatively put his arm over and Dalton grabs the arm and like snuggles up into it as little
It's
spoon.
so
Oh my God, it's so cute. Yeah.
Can confirm as somebody who is generally the taller
Sure.
person, I love being jet-packed. Let me just back it up,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So then he asks him like, well, they have this whole talk, right? Because he asks him if it was his first time with a dude. And Simon's like, yeah, and I was really nervous and it's not sexy. And he's like, no, you were great in the shower. It was the freaked out look on your face afterwards that was a dead giveaway.
That gave it away, yeah.
Yeah, you were a natural in the shower. You should have really gone for dick before me, And then they start talking about paleontology and how he got into it and everything that...
is that when this conversation happens? Like,
talking
talking about like growing up with his dad and how they used to go on like road trips and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really, really sweet. So anyway, the next morning, Dalton gets up and he decides to disgustingly go outside to smoke.
Honestly, the most shocking part to me as a former smoker is that he waited until the morning after for an after sex smoke.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
He's like, I can't deal with since I can't hunt the morning. And I'm like, you went to bed after sex without a cigarette? Ah, boy, Dalton, that's more willpower than I've ever had in my entire life. So, anyway, this man steps out the next morning for a morning smoke, and he immediately gets just, nailed in the side of the head. He lights
with a
up.
Bat?
Boy, it's the
so
universe.
Many bats in this book.
Boy, they love a
Good God.
wailing with a bat in this book.
Ugh.
You know?
Yeah, and so they wail on him. They're kicking him in the head and kicking him in the torso. They're really beating him down.
And then he hears Simon scream from inside, and he goes full fucking raptor. This man
He can't help it.
It's instinctual. He literally cannot stop himself from doing it.
He doesn't understand why the guys around him look so freaked out until he starts seeing feathers coming out of him. And he's like, oh shit, it's raptor time.
Yeah, it's raptor time.
Yeah.
And so he goes full raptor, and he's in his head, he's remembering Daddy Montana saying, don't eat humans. We do not eat humans. We do not kill humans. So, but he's like, I'm gonna make them wish that they were dead. And so he nails a ton of stuff. Meanwhile, Simon now, everyone's freaking out in the room, and Simon is just dead still.
Yeah.
Going, what the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah, because he almost rips a guy's arm off, because he sees this guy.
Him?
Yeah, he sees this guy put Simon down on his knees and hold him by the hair, and it hurts Simon. I think he punches him too. Mm-hmm. And then he immediately goes over and bites that arm, and he says it's the arm that hurt Simon, pretty Simon. Nobody hurts pretty Simon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so they run as fast as they possibly can out of there. And then Simon is just backed against the wall,
freaking out. And then as he's watching this raptor ruffles his feathers and looks at him and ends up scooching down to get smaller to seem approachable and less threatening.
He puts his head all the way on the ground and just looks at him, and he's watching him, and then he's like, I try to chirp. Yeah, he's like, I try to chirp in a approachable way.
So Simon realizes this is Dalton because he recognizes the eyes, and he recognizes just the demeanor and all of that shit. But more specifically,
that's right.
He walks up and he is now petting this dino, and he says, "This has been my dream since I was 7. He confessed around a sniff, wiping tears from his cheeks. I figured the best I was going to get was Horner's weird dino chicken. This is like seeing a dream come true, because what really clocked it all together was his feathers. Dalton stood his feathers up, and they're hot pink like a little mohawk down his back.
They're like a cockatiel on his head.
Yeah.
He's like a cockatiel on his head, and they're bright fluorescent pink.
Yeah.
And so that's when he realizes it's Dalton. And when that happens, he's crying because Dalton has scooched up as slow as he possibly can and put his head on top of Simon's lap. Just the best puppy in the whole wide world.
This is so funny to me, too, because, that head must have weighed so fucking much.
Yeah.
That head would have been so heavy. But it's so cute because after he says this is like a dream come true, I ruffled my feathers at that, and he smiled. Even in the state I was in, that smile made me warm. The dimple was back, and I had the urge to try and bite it. I refrained, but I did chirp a little. It pleased me that he liked my feathers, that I was a good specimen. The ancient reflex to display my colorful stripe and flex my claws was drumming in my blood, but I wasn't sure if that would be charming or scary for humans. Well,
yeah.
And then they're talking to each other, and
because Simon faints. No, Simon faints completely. Because he only talks to him at this point in dino form. Period, the end.
Yes.
And then he faints hard, and Dalton is like, oh my god, they're sirens. He says that, his feather form just wants to like nest together, but his human form knows they have to get the fuck out and like change their cars, steal new cars and everything.
Yeah.
So he ends up loading him into the car and busting out of there as fast as possible. He gets on the phone with his like head Montana guy, and he has to admit that he shifted in front of humans. It's like their one original sin, you know?
Yeah.
So you can't do it. You cannot do that. He also happens to use the phrase, "we are going to go do something." And Montana's like, "Who's we?" He's like, "Oh, fuck.
Melody, Montana's book is book 5.
Ooh, okay.
And
Well, because Montana's already lost his soulmate.
Reaper?
Yeah. We don't find out in this book. I didn't whimsy it twice, right? We never find out how Reaper dies, right?
Not in this book.
Okay, good. All right. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't dumb.
You're gonna be a sad little potato.
I'm sure.
Book 5, but it's so good.
Oh.
So he confesses everything to Montana, and then Simon wakes up and he says to Simon, "You knew who I was as a raptor. I could see it in your eyes." Simon shook his head. "I looked at you and you looked right back. You can't be operating simply off basic instinct." Like, so basically they're discussing, like, I knew that you weren't a threat to me because, like, you're not just raptor in there. Your subconscious is human. Like, there was more than just raptor in there. And then he says, "Yeah, you're right. I know you when I'm in my other form. You're my pretty Simon." Oh, the blush that crept up his neck at that. "When I see you, all I want to do is shake my tail, feed you rabbits, and keep you safe." He blinked, his mouth open a moment. That is both the weirdest pickup line I've ever heard and the sweetest thing anyone's ever said to me. Yeah. Weird and sweet. That's what I strive for. And you know what, Dalton? You do it. You successfully do it.
Nailed it.
Oh, also, oh my god, I can't believe we forgot to say this. What really, before even the mohawk thing happened while he was in raptor form, he realized this fucking dinosaur had lip piercings.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. Well, also notably, in the car when he first wakes up, he's like, "What happened?" And Dalton knows that he can gaslight him out of this, you know?
Yes.
Especially after getting in trouble with Montana. He knows that he can be like, wow, that's a crazy, like, weird dream you had.
Man, trauma makes weird things happen.
Huh.
You know?
Yeah. But instead he tells him the truth, and then later on, Simon will ask him, like, "Why did you tell me? You could have convinced me it didn't happen." And he goes, "I don't know. I just trust you. I just know that I can trust you." It's because he's your mate, okay? That's why. Raptors mate for life, everyone, okay?
So they're headed out. They're on the run. Basically, Montana's like, the game plan from here is you need to lay fucking low. Like, you need to get back to Dallas and not tell anybody what's going, like, no more stops, no more fucking dino world. Okay, Dalton? And then
they stop at another motel.
Yes.
And he's like, "I really think I'm going insane. Like, there's really no way that this could have happened." And Dalton says, "I'll prove it to you." He's like, "How could you do that possibly?" He's like, "I'll shift again, but you can't watch me." And Simon's like, "What?" Like, that makes him just, like, extra skeptical. And Dalton's like, "Hey, man, can we just, like, do, baby steps into all the weird shit? Like, you don't need to watch me shift. That's even weirder than seeing a man, closing your eyes, and then seeing a raptor. Like, let's just cool it a tiny bit." And he's like, okay. So, yeah, he shifts again.
And now, listener, the floodgates are open. Simon's like, "Can I ask you questions?" And Dalton is like, "Oh yeah, definitely." And so Simon is just getting all of the most and then he's, oh my god, and then Simon is so embarrassed. He's like, "Oh my god, I human-splained to you about yourself at Dinosaur World." And Dalton's like, "It was the best.
It was the cutest thing.
I loved hearing you wax poetic about me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though you were a little wrong on a lot, you know?
Sure.
But it was amazing.
He also gets all the information about the rest of the brothers, like what formation they were found in, and he's told the story of how Dalton like came to be in his current form, which is that one morning he woke up basically at a construction site with like construction equipment around, and he was naked and just like screaming. Luckily, Montana often will like hang out at new dig sites just to keep an eye on like what's being discovered, but also make sure that if any of them are there to wake up, then Montana will be there to like shepherd them into human existence. Because Dalton's last memory, before like the big meteorite and everything, Dalton could shift into anything. And so he says, but then the meteorite really like changed everything. It changed the world and it changed all of us. So when that happened, he shifted into like, you know, an amoeba kind of a situation and burrowed down into the earth.
That he could. Yeah.
Yeah. And burrowed down into the earth to like hopefully go to sleep and wait it out and like wake up when it was safe.
Well, and he did, except he hibernated and slept for 65 million years.
Insane. And then he woke up in a human form. And so, I mean, obviously Simon has so many questions and he's like, I don't know, man. Like, I really can only tell you my experience, you know? So after that, like Montana is the one, unlike in the Nina Bangs book where like they could just like download it. Apparently Montana spends years and years and years with each of these brothers teaching them how to speak and like how human life works and all the business. And so now each of them shift into the dinosaur that they had like the most sort of connection with, the one that they felt the most natural in. And for him, it's a raptor. For Montana's a T-Rex, okay?
And I'm just going to tell you right now, Melody, not all of the shifters that you meet are going to be dinosaurs.
Fun Town. Ooh.
It's from that era, but
sure.
not dinosaurs.
Not necessarily dinos. Yeah. Baja's a Spinosaurus. And we learn like about the rest of them. So that's super fun.
So this is when Simon and Dalton, they are in this hotel and they are penetratively intimate for the first time with Simon being the penetrator. And he was like, oh my God, you would really let me fuck you? And Dalton was like, hell yeah, let's fucking go. I don't need to do this to you. Like, I would love it if you did it to me. And then,
he said, so no. They're like making out or whatever, Sabrina, okay? Listener. And, oh man.
I'm sorry. All of this is a little fuzzy, even with notes, because as stated, I have
right, you're 5 books deep. Yeah. That's why I read this book 3 times instead of doing the thing I wanted to do, which was start mainlining the rest of the books.
That was good of you. I did not have that same willpower because I did finish it last week.
Yeah. So they're making out on the bed and Simon like reaches up to grab Dalton's face and like pull him down for another kiss. And instead, Dalton grabs his wrists and pins them up on top. And then he's like, over him and he says, I want you to fuck me, my pretty Simon. And then Simon's like, oh, like, yes, but I've never done that before. Like, with a man. I've had sex with a woman. Jesus Christ. And then Dalton goes, you don't have to call me Jesus. I already said you could fuck me. So it's great. And then Simon, I love them. And then Simon, he's like, well, can I blow you first? And he's like, you do not need to ask me permission. The answer is always yes. Please carry on. But he's like nervous, you know, it's his first time ever coming in face first contact with a cock. And so Dalton, like, talks him through it, being like, you don't have to, but also you've gotten your dick sucked. Like, do what you know feels good. And, like, he also says, gagging is a compliment.
I'll bet Simon knows what to do with a dry penis.
It seems as though he really took it in stride.
I will say, being willing to bring your mouth into the game does fix that.
Yeah, it's like an immediate fix. You know, you were in a tougher situation because you weren't at the level where you were comfortable with having mouth stuff involved without a barrier. They're fine with that right now. So Simon goes down on him. Dalton is in heaven. Dalton is a very effusive praiser when having sex. And that really helps Simon's nerves. He's like, I was really nervous, but then every time he like says a new thing about how great something feels or whatever, like I'm just getting more and more into it. And then at the end, he's like, oh my God, you have to get off me if we're going to fuck, because otherwise I'm just going to blow right now. And at the end, Simon looks at him and he says, you taste good. And then Dalton says, it's like a crime how pretty your sex face is. And he says that Simon
Honestly,
like winks at him and grins.
Fucking compliment.
I know, right? I know. But Simon like grins and winks at him, and it says in italics, like he fucking knew how cute he was with his sex face. So anyway, then they have penetrative sex with Dalton on top, reverse cowpoke style. And it is amazing. Both of them like just have an absolute almost out-of-body experience. Yeah. Oh, and like he's watching all the tattoos on Dalton's back flex and move as they're having sex, and he's like, God, and with the more exercise,
so hot,
yeah. And he's like, the more exercise he's getting, like the more sweat and shiny his tattoos are, and he's like, this movement that he's doing with his hips is
he
like,
knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it's like I'm a prop in an amateur porn video, and I'm so into it.
Yes, absolutely. He's
it's
like,
so good.
He's the professional, and I'm just here for.
Yeah,
I'm just part of the set, and I'm okay with that.
Yes, but then Simon says like, I want to face you, so like lie down on your back, and it's like Dalton has this like. I don't know. He has this like shocked kind of moment. Yes. Yeah. And then it says that when he looked into his eyes, Dalton's icy blue eyes dilated. And for a brief moment, I swore I was gazing into the wide pupils of the beast that wanted to eat me. Or I guess feed me rabbits. Maybe that too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
By the way, totally forgot about this earlier. There was a point when they were talking about their history and he was sharing about his brothers that he was explaining about Royal.
Oh my God.
Who's a
Regalosaurus.
Yep. And Simon says, they just discovered that species. You said Royal has been around since the 80s. He's just been patiently waiting for us to find his species? Simon, I cannot stress to you how annoying this man has been since they unearthed that fucking skull. Dalton said with wide eyes, man acts like he's dinosaur Jesus. Which had me just giggling. But yes, this is Dalton's first time ever feeling like a connection with the person that he's being physically intimate with. And it's like, oh God, they're so cute. And then they end up like...
At another point, I'm sorry, there's one other point in their conversation about all the brothers that I just remembered that we have to talk about.
Okay.
Because when he finds out that Montana is a T-Rex, he starts asking him all the questions. And he's like, oh my God, does he have lips? Did they scavenge or did they hunt? Like, what does he have belly ribs like a crocodile? And then Dalton says, I've never seen his insides, you fucking madman. and so he's freaking out. He's like fangirling so hard. And then he's like, he's not that impressive, Dalton grumbled, sounding jealous. He doesn't have pre-flight feathers and sexy tattoos. You cannot be jealous that I'm excited about seeing a T-Rex, I scoffed. It's purely academic. Better be academic, he mumbled, reaching for his cigarettes, asking me about his lips. In his T-Rex form, I defended with a chuckle. Oh my God.
Melody, you're gonna...
He narrowed his eyes at me. And then he says, conversation is paused for pizza. You better cuddle me so hard later.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best.
I'm just going to tell you about it now. There's a scene in the third book, okay?
Yeah.
Third book is Royal's book. And another human who doesn't know about dinosaur shifters, okay? And at one point they're in the car. And the guy, his name's Blaze. Blaze is like, so like, are there any limits to the questions I can ask you? And Royal, like, plops his head against the thing and then, like, rolls his head over in the most just put upon way and says, you want to ask about the cloaca? And Blaze is like, of course I want to ask about the cloaca! And Royal's like, my cloaca is none of your business. And it's so
differ.
It's so fucking funny.
Oh my God. Okay, so now shit goes sideways from here, okay? Because he goes out to smoke in the morning and Montana calls him. And during this conversation with Montana, he brings him back down to earth about his real inability to actually keep Simon safe and what kind of an idiotic move it was to bring him in the first place.
Well, and it's also a reminder that humans die.
Are fragile. Yeah.
They're fragile in a way that dinosaur shifters are not, because dinosaur shifters don't really, like, they don't age. Or if they do, it's so slow that they don't realize it is happening.
Right.
Like, Montana he was born in the late 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
He was founded and you like learn all of these things later, so I'm just spoiling this for you now. But Montana's from the late 1800s. You, who is the suavest motherfucker who's ever walked the earth, his book is so good. He was born in he was unearthed in like 1845. So like these dudes are old.
Yeah, they don't age, but they can die.
Yeah, they can be destroyed, but they're not.
Right.
They don't, yeah.
So by the end of this conversation, Dalton is heartbroken because he knows that he has to send Simon to safety. So he calls Baja and he asks him for help. And then that's when Simon wakes up. He slept way too long. He wakes up and Dalton's not there. And so he's like, maybe he went out for a coffee run or whatever. But then Baja comes to the door. Mm-hmm. And then he looks around and he's like, oh my God, the fossil's gone. The fossil case is gone.
Everything is gone.
Yeah. And so Baja explains to him that Dalton asked for help and he asked him to get him to the airport and get him home.
Keep him safe.
Yeah, they realize that Hyena will only track Dalton if they make it clear that he's the one who has the fossil, and they'll leave him alone. And so he's heartbroken, and he's like, they're in the car, and he's like, does he do this often? Just get sick of someone and send you to clean up the mess? And Baja's like, no, the only thing he does with any kind of regularity is be an impulsive dickbag. It's just, he's a sweetie. He's not insincere, you know? If he told you he cared about you, it's because he cares. Yeah. He just realized that, he doesn't have the tools to keep you as safe as he wants you to be. Dalton left him, some Sour Patch Kids in a note, and it says, I'm not sending you away because I want to, and maybe we'll meet up again someday, maybe at the dinosaur park. Boo! As they're in the car, Baja then gets a call, and he's like, oh my God, come on. They have him? Can you do any kind of tracking or whatever? And so he's only hearing that end of the conversation, and he is like, okay, if they have him, then I want to help. And Baja's like, no fucking way. I promised that I would get you to safety. It was the one thing that he asked me for. And so Baja's like, we're not doing that. He asked me to keep you safe. And he pulls over. He tells Simon to get out of the car and call an Uber to the airport because, like, he needs to go and deal with this shit. And Simon is like, what the fuck? No. But like, okay, fine. And then he goes to grab his bag and he feels that the fossil is in his bag.
Well, he feels something hard. And when he opens up his bag, there's a note that's like a present for Baja. And when he pulls it out, it's the fossil.
Yeah.
Which means Dalton has the case and not the fossil. And, like, at this point, we've already seen Dalton being a hot mess. Because I remember the scene so vividly. Because I was like, oh my god, the fossil's not in the case. Because Dalton has taken a picture. Dalton is doing his plan. He's doing what he does best, quote unquote, being cute and blowing shit up. And he has taken a picture of himself peeing on the door to the bad guy's lair, holding the fossil case, and then printed it at like a Walgreens 1 hour photo, taken it back, taped it to the door, and then ran as he set all of their SUVs on fire. And he's like, man, on his drive away, he's like, man, I'm the baddest bitch in the world. And then kablam, he gets nailed in the side of a car by an SUV being driven by Hyena. And like, so now he's locked up. He is being tortured and all of that jazz. And we zippy zap back, which is when Simon finds the fossil and all of this is happening. And Baja's like, okay, give me the fossil, get out. And Simon's like, no, I have a plan.
Yeah.
I have a better plan.
We can trade this for his life. I'll go in. You can be in my backup or whatever. And like, you keep the fossil so that they'll keep me alive. And Baja's like, oh, it's not a terrible plan. So they pull over at a rest area. And Baja starts getting, like, supplies out of the back. And one of them is this, like, really tiny ring. And he's like, come with me, follow me. Takes him into the rest area bathroom, like, where all, like, the lockers are. And he's like, sit down. He starts cleaning a needle.
Take off your shirt.
Yeah. And he's like, what? What are you talking about? You can just pierce my ear. And he's like, no, they'll know if they've seen you before whether or not you had an ear piercing, which is wild to me.
And then fucking, he's like, pierce, like, whatever. And then Baja bends at the waist and says, you want to help Dalton? You know I do. Are you going to keep whining? Or are you going to prove to me that you're worth my brother's affection? He dropped his voice. Because my brother's not allowed to date little bitches who cry about getting their fucking nipple pierced.
And right before that, he had said, it's either your nipple or your dick. You pick.
I did have a moment, though, where I was like, there's a lot of other places you could pierce.
Right? An eyebrow?
Visible?
A lip?
As well?
Well, so the deal with this little tiny device is that it not only tracks location in real time, but Baja will also be able to hear everything that's going on. So maybe, like, right by the lip is not a good idea because it would just, like, blow out the speakers or whatever. But yeah, instead he's like, it's nipple time. Get your nipple out. I'm cleaning this needle.
So he does, and I will tell you, there is a scene on Maddox's website that is after everything is said and done. Dalton discovering Simon's nipple piercing.
Yes. I was waiting for that in this book. I'm so glad that there's an extra scene.
It's delightful. Go read it, Melody.
I love it. Yeah, so Royal sets up the meeting and Hyena goes in after, like, beating Dalton to shit and back. He's like, ooh, you thought you were so clever, but I cannot wait to see how you react when I just start taking pieces off your little boyfriend. You're going to show me your dino form. It's going to happen because everybody else thinks I'm nuts, but they're going to see. I'm going to show them that you do this. And the way I'm going to do that is by torturing your boyfriend in front of you. And so Dalton's like, no, Baja promised. He's safe. He's totally okay. But then in the back of his mind, he's like, but what if he's not? And then Simon walks in. Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a whole scene with Hyena, like, you know, being a big bad guy.
Baja kicks the door in because, like, at one point, they're like, haha, this is what you get for not coming with backup. And then Baja kicks the door and like a badass with a rifle in his hand. And he's like, guess what? And they're like, oh, well, don't worry. We expected you to have backup because you're just a whiny little baby man who can't do anything on his own. And like, Simon's
he's like, what? Are you a werewolf or are you just like a saber-toothed pussy? And Dalton's like, ooh, you did it now. You've done it now.
Baja and Dalton end up going ape on these people. And then
Dalton does not. Dalton's tied up the whole time.
Oh, yeah, because Simon gets him loose and, like, to get him out. Baja starts going ape, and then somebody pisses him off enough that he goes full dino. And Spinosaurus is out. I did not realize how big Spinosauruses were. Yeah. This motherfucker is like 40 feet tall, or 40 feet long, and like 14 feet tall.
Yeah,
insane.
Huge.
And he goes full ape on all of these people. I guess full lizard on all of these people.
I think dino would work.
Dino, yeah, that works. That's better.
Sure.
Full dino on all of these people.
He grabs Hyena by the torso and like pulls him apart. Kind of a situation.
Yes.
And Simon unties Dalton.
They get out to the car, basically, and then all of a sudden, the building just collapses around Baja as he, like, wiggles his way out of it, clearly unfazed by the fact that this building is collapsing.
And wood and everything is just, like, toppling around him.
He walks up to them, and he's like, oh my god. What if he doesn't recognize me? Like, I don't have the same connection with him that Dalton does, and like, how prehistoric and primal is it inside of that head and whatever. And then Baja walks up and just like shoves his face into Simon and like snuffles a bit, and Dalton's like, hey man, boundaries, and just like baps his nose away.
And he's like, hey, can you like shrink down? You know, you're really freaking my mans out here. And so Baja does. He shifts back into human form, and then they both, like, help Dalton hobble to the car.
Oh, my God. And Baja's like, get ready. We're doing a straight shot to Dallas. And Dalton's like, but wait, there's a dino park in Arkansas I wanted to stop at.
Yeah.
And Baja's like, no.
Yeah, Baja lays down the law. And that is when Simon looks at Dalton and he comforts him by being like, well, we could take a trip, you know, just on our own to go see that if you want later on. So then he plays like hot nurse in the back of the car all the way to Texas. It's a full, like, I don't know, 18-hour drive or something bananas. And then Dalton is recuperating at the base that they all live at. It's out on the outskirts of Dallas, out in like there's lots of land, lots of places to dino out and like go ham. And honestly, Texas is a great place to be a dinosaur shifter because they have such a big wild boar problem, you know? Like, you won't make anybody mad if you go snack on some wild boar.
Yeah.
So anyway, then he realizes that he slept for like a day, and Simon has been like, you know, chipping away at this fossil just to like keep himself busy. And he keeps on like looking over, and then once Dalton's eyes are open, he does this double take. And he's like, oh my gosh, you're awake. I'm so glad. They have this whole talk, and then Montana interrupts them before they can really say anything significant.
Yeah. And he asks for some privacy with Dalton, and obviously Simon gives it. And before Montana can even say anything, Dalton is like, hey, that's my human and I don't want to be done with him. And Montana's like, okay, well, I understand that, but he's human. And he's basically like laying down some facts. And Dalton's like, well, wait, what about this? What if, like, you said that it's okay if I go to New York with him, but, like, also, like, what if he came down here? It would be really useful to have, like, somebody on staff to, like, help with the fossils and, like, the expert, and then we don't have to, like, find it. And he's just, like, rattling off all of these things, and then he finally stops, and Montana's like, huh.
Seems like you have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Also, like, that was going to be one of the things I said, you know? But also, this is a huge ask for him to come here. He is settled where he is, and he has a life and a job. And Dalton's like, and Montana's like, you can go with him if you want to, but like, you can't make him come down here.
Right, of course. Yeah, and so Dalton's like, yeah, that makes sense. And P.S., Montana fully says, like, it would be incredible to have someone with his skills on the team, just to be clear. So when Simon comes back in, Dalton is, like, fidgeting and trying to get up the gumption to ask him to move down there, or, like, at least tell him that he wants to be with him wherever it is. And instead, Simon stops him and he goes, do you want to see what I've been looking at while you've been asleep the past couple of days? And Dalton's like, okay. And so he pulls out a real estate listing that's like 20 minutes away. And he's like, also, the commute will suck at first, but like I've got podcasts to catch up on, and there might be a job opening with my skill set at a museum locally. And Dalton's like, are you serious? Have you seriously been thinking about this? And he's like, yeah, I don't see why not, because my family's a plane ride away, but that seems too far for you. It's too far to be away from Dalton specifically.
It's so cute. And then Dalton like launches himself bodily at Simon and says, "Oh my god, I'll make you so happy. I'll bring you so many rabbits." And Simon is like, "Simon, please don't." I tried to manage, but he was kissing my teeth as I tried to speak, which is such a that brought such a visceral like everything. I knew exactly how excited Dalton was based on that. And it's just, oh gosh. So we're happy.
It's lovely. That's
it's
it.
Together forever.
There's an epilogue.
The epilogue is hilarious. It's Dalton being Dalton while Simon goes back to talk to the police.
Oh my god. And to move out of his apartment. And he's like, everybody said that Dalton had a hard time on planes, but they really buried the lead because Dalton is like a cat trying to stay out of a pool with the level that he's like trying to climb over seats and like get out of the whatever and like freaking out. It's so
Melody,
funny.
The plane scene in book 5 is so fucking funny.
Oh no.
God, this whole series is just a delight. Yeah, so he's just a little nightmare. Also, at one point they're on the street and Dalton is all punked out because there's no other way for him to be. And a little girl is next to him at a crosswalk and looks up at him and is like, I like your hair. And he's like, thanks. Pink's my favorite color. And she's like, it's my favorite color too. And then he hands her a goodie.
No, and then he says, wait, I just love this so much. He says, I like your unicorn shirt. I've got the same one.
And then he hands her like a little snow globe thing that he just had in his pocket, apparently.
That he stole from the police station, ?
No, because the one that he's broke at this police station stayed at the police station.
Did it? Okay. I thought he gave her the broken one. That's cute.
Maybe he did get, I don't know. He just whips a snow globe out of his jacket. I don't know. It's Dalton. Melody. It could be any of the above and all of the above. So he hands it to her and then like he looks over at Simon and he's like, this is what we'll do. We'll pack a couple boxes, order pizza, I'll blow you, and then we'll watch a movie. Pineapple on the pizza, obviously, because of the blowjob. Heat raced up my neck as the mother shot us a horrified look just as the light finally changed. Bye! The little girl waved as her mother pulled her along and Dalton waved back with a smile. Bye! Grow up to dismantle society! He called after her, and Simon's like, stop yelling that to children! And Dalton goes, they're our future, Simon.
Children are our future. Okay.
Oh, God. Oh, we also find out that, like, Daltons and Utahraptors mate for life. And, like, he's like, you're gonna be mine. And at one point, he looks at him and he's like, so how many babies do you want, Simon? And Simon's like, what? He's like, I want
We're
babies.
gonna have so many babies.
I love babies. And he... They're so good. That's like that's it. That's the end of the book. It's Dalton being like, we're gonna have so many babies.
And Simon being like, cool it a tiny bit. And he's like, no, so many babies. It's so good. Yeah.
Oh, it's just so good. I can't
Truly.
wait for you to read the rest of them. I think that you are going to tear through them like a raptor through tissue paper.
I love it. Ooh, I'm so excited.
All right. What's your lady love, Mel?
In honor of Dalton, it was going to be something else, but in honor of Dalton and his pink flume and mohawk, I need to celebrate the fact that I now have a pink garage after many hours
Hell
of
yeah.
sweating and painting and filling buckets and doing all the business. Man, the amount of time I spent on a ladder getting this thing done. Oh, it's so wonderful. And
It still
now,
makes you just as happy.
yeah, it makes me just as happy. At one point, Michael came out and he was looking at like the first coat of pink and the rest of our garage is blue. And so he's like, it kind of reminds me of a whale's mouth. It's like the outside is blue and then the inside is that pink.
What?
Well, when we went to Disneyland,
No, I get it. That's
there's
hilarious, though.
Yeah, there's Monstro. One of the rides has Monstro's big mouth that you go through. Yeah, it's so funny. So anyway, now we're waiting for some slat wall and other shit to show up that we're going to install. And then I get to organize my pink garage. Ooh!
That's very exciting.
Very excited about
I can't
it.
wait for pictures.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's like the inside of a gumball. It's great. Okay,
I love that for
what's
you.
your lady love?
Aren't the inside of gumballs white?
Shut your fucking mouth.
Okay. So my lady love is my lady.
Yeah. That's all I have to say to you.
That's valid. It was a legitimate question because it did just make my brain pause. But like,
Also
that's
a valid question.
valid
but a valid
question,
response
but
too.
valid response. Yeah. So my lady love is I've been crocheting for most of my life, right?
Yeah.
And so well over 2 decades. And I've been knitting for not quite as long, but as much as I like crocheting, knitting is really my preferred yarn craft. I have bought so many books. I have downloaded PDFs, so many different things. I've been trying to keep track of all of the different knitting stitches that you can do and different patterns, stitch patterns and stuff. And what I've always wanted was just a glossary of all of them. And so I would think that I found it, and then I would realize that it wasn't comprehensive enough. And I was like, man, I'm really just going to have to do this myself. I don't want to have to do it myself, but I'm going to have to do it myself if I want a glossary of all of these things.
That includes instructions?
Yes.
Nice.
The last time I looked for this was several years ago. I did a little webby looking.
Ooh.
And I found knittingfool.com.
Hey.
Knittingfool.com is a glossary of thousands and thousands and thousands of stitches. And I know that it's thousands and thousands and thousands because I was over 1,000 before I even got to the end of E, if I go through them alphabetically. And I have started what is probably an absolute bananas project of swatches of all of them that are not edging. I have so far done 6 different versions of the acorn pattern.
Oh, God.
And eventually I will maneuver them all into, I will make patchworky style blankets, as I finish pieces and do things. And eventually it'll be a complete project, but it's mostly just...
But if there are thousands of them, it won't be a blanket. It will be a football field cover.
It's gonna be multiple blankets.
Sure. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Many.
Are you doing it in alphabetical order?
Yeah, which is why I've done 6 different versions of the acorn stitch. Yeah. I think, I don't know. I'm just really excited. So my lady love is knittingfool.com. And I was kind of debating. I don't know, I say this about everything. I'm going to keep track of it. I'll post about this on social media. And I never end up doing it. But I might just be like, hey, look, I finished another thing, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just really excited. I was talking to my D&D group last night, though, when I was explaining all of this, because we're all crafters, too. And they were excited for me, but also horrified that I was embarking on this.
Relatable.
And I said to them, this is my magnum opus.
No. Honestly.
I'm about to embark on the project that will take me the rest of my life, and I may not finish it, but it will be the greatest thing that I've ever done.
Truly.
And I I don't know. I'm excited. It's really one of my favorite things is it's really making me stretch my chops in some ways that I haven't done in a long time. Like it's making me do like different kinds of cabling because like there's just so many of them. And so like and all of the swatches are different sizes because I'm making 3 repeats wide by 3 repeats tall. So like some of them are, 40 stitches wide by 30 rows tall. But then one I just finished is like 85 rows tall by
God.
like 30 stitches wide. So like they really vary. It's going to be very patchworky and I'm really excited. I'm having a good time.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Knittingfool.com.
That's amazing. Yay. All right. Keep being a badass and
love yourself as much as you love a dino park date.
Yes, love yourself as much as you love a mohawk that matches your true form.
Mm-hmm. Love yourself as much as you love a kitschy roadside attraction.
Oh, absolutely. Love yourself as much as you love just breaking up a heist. Okay? Heisting for good.
Oh my God. Man, there's just a lot of things to love. Love yourself as much as we love this book.
Love yourself as much as you love Relic and or Fart. Bye!
All right, bye.
Thank you for listening to this squeepisode on another dinosaur romance book. Who knew it was going to be the HB year of dino porn? Lovely surprise, if you're asking me. Next week, we'll be back with the debut contemporary, Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. Heaving Bosoms is produced by us, Melody Carlisle and Sabrina Bradley. Editing is done by me, Melody Carlisle. Our theme music is by the incredible singer-songwriter Brittany Fonts, and our art is by the ultra-talented author Kate Pryor. If you like our show, remember to follow us on your favorite podcast app, rate us 5 stars, and leave a review. That one small action is a huge way to help the show. If you want to get in touch with us for advertising inquiries or anything else, you can email us at heavingbosomspodcast@gmail.com. If you want more of us, visit patreon.com/heavingbosomspodcast. You can also find us on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms, on TikTok at Heaving_Bosoms, and in our Facebook group, the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult. See you next week.